So, you ready to go to the beach? Just kidding. This week we're going to talk about how to prepare your business for the summer season. I'm Melissa Franks, your host of the Opt-in podcast, and this is where we go from surviving to thriving in business. Today, we're going to cover 7 tips that I have for you to summer-proof your business to ensure that operations are sound, your business is growing, and you and your team get the time off that you need to recharge your battery and roll right into the fall and winter seasons. Now, if your household is anything like mine, when school gets out, it is like a whole different animal has occurred. And if you don't have kids, then maybe you're not feeling it as much as we are, but regardless, you start to get a little bit of cabin fever. You want to get outside, you don't want to be at your desk, you want to go for walks, take the vacations, do all of the things, and you should be able to do exactly that, and so should the people working with and for you. And that's where preparedness comes in. That's where understanding your business comes in so that you can take the appropriate actions to allow yourself and the people around you the freedom to live their lives as they want to during the summer months. So the first tip that I have for you today is for you to anticipate how the next few months of your business are going to unfold. What is June, July, and August going to look like for your business? Now, if you have been in business for a while, you're ahead of the game because you have historical information you can look back at and you can know, are we typically slower in the summer months? Are we typically busier in the summer months? Or is one of them stellar and the other two a bust? Your historical data and information can tell you exactly what goes on in your business, and it can inform things like when you take a vacation, if your team can take a vacation, how you should handle flex time or paid time off. It can tell you if you're going to have a cash flow issue or if it's a good time to allow contractors to take some free reign and you save some money on their services. Understanding and anticipating what's happening in your business is going to lay the foundation for all of these other tips that I have for you to follow. Now, if your business gets busier during the summer, what that means is that you have an opportunity for yourself and for your staff to redefine what the holiday period for you and your business is, aka the slow season. If summer is busy for you, when is it not busy? And that's where you communicate really clearly to your staff and to your family and to anybody else that is invested in how you spend your time, that while the rest of the world sees this as an opportunity to slow down and take a step back, for us is when we put our foot down on the gas, which means that maybe the beginning of the year or the end of the year is when you do the exact opposite. Setting expectations around what is needed inside of the business based on the business cycles is incredibly important. It's important so that you don't disappoint the people that you love and care about. It's important so that when you hire people, they understand what it's going to be like to work inside of your business and they're not going to have a point of tension with you or their life outside of the office. Understanding the seasons and rhythms of your business is incredibly critical to being prepared. The second thing that you need to do is set expectations about time. If you're listening to this podcast, likely you have a small business, which means that you have a small team, which means that there is no backup. It means that there is not a chain of command where if one person steps out, another person knows enough that they can step in seamlessly. It means that when somebody leaves, they're going to have to pick up the slack. What it also means is that if everybody wants to be out at the same time, your business shuts down. So you need to determine what you can handle and then set expectations accordingly. Here is some examples of that. Well before now. So spoiler, you should have done this a few months ago. And if you didn't, then do it now. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. After you're done listening to this podcast, take some action. You communicate to your staff in an open dialogue where there can be a conversation that these are your expectations for time off, that one person is out at a time. Vacations are approved 2 weeks in advance, that there are blackout periods in the schedule where we just absolutely can't take vacations because we've got a launch, we've got an event, we have a high profile client coming into town, it's our busy season, etc., etc., etc. Set expectations around time off requests, how long it will take you to evaluate it, What happens if it's declined? You need to be able to be firm and establish boundaries that your employees need to operate within. And then you need to set expectations for yourself about what you're going to do about it. There will become a very real time where if you said one person can take time off at a time, where two people are going to ask for the same days off. How do you choose? How do you break the tie? How do you come up with a compromise? And the answer is not throwing it back to them and saying, hey, you both asked for the same days off, you go figure it out. That's not the answer. That's going to create animosity. That's going to create competition. That's going to create hostility. So you need to set the rules of the road, not only for them, for what they request and what the rules are around time off. You need to set them for yourself so that you know how you're going to evaluate those requests and how you're going to approve or reject them when they come in. Being clear around the policy for time off, how requests are submitted and how they're evaluated will save you a lot of headache later. It will ensure that everybody feels like they're being treated equitably and fairly. The next thing that I recommend, so this is tip number 3 to all businesses, regardless of size, is to consider, at least in the summer months, having an extremely flexible schedule. And it does not matter the classification of human you're working with, whether they are parents or they are dog parents or they are caregivers or they are single or they are Gen Z or they are millennial. It does not matter. When you create a flexible schedule, it is equal opportunity, meaning everybody can take advantage of it. So some examples of flexible schedules are 4-day work weeks, so everybody takes Friday off. Examples of flexible schedules are that you can work remotely for the whole summer. Examples of flexible schedules are that you can work 9 to 3, Monday through Friday. Examples of flexible schedules are that you can off shift. So maybe you work 9 to 12 and maybe you work 4 to 7. The options are endless for what you can offer as a flexible schedule. What is not unlimited is your business's ability to manage flexible schedules. Here's what I mean. If you have a client-facing business that requires customer support or customer service, and you make a decision to take your business from 5 working days a week to 4. What that means is your customers are going to be impacted because now they're only going to get 4 days of support instead of 5. Is that okay? Will your customers understand? Can your business weather the feedback around that? You need to evaluate it. It might mean that in your case, having a 4-day work week doesn't work. What does work is working 5 days a week, but shorter durations every day. Another example of it maybe not working well is if you have a business that's highly collaborative, where everybody is dependent upon each other to get their work done and they need to be engaged and talking to each other frequently and often. Then allowing each individual to determine what their flexible work schedule is for them isn't in the best interest of the business because things will slow down. Collaboration will stall. It will become difficult for people to have conversations. And what will end up happening is that the person that's working will contact the person that's not because they need to get stuff done. And the person that's not working is going to get super frustrated that they got contacted. So when you are building these flexible schedules, you want to make sure that your business model will continue to operate fully and functionally, serving your clients or the businesses that you serve in a quality way, meeting expectations regardless of how you adjust the schedules, and you want to make sure that you are not singling out any one group. Now, it can be that you offer the whole organization the ability to work Monday through Thursday, and you have to have a different option for those that do customer support. What you want to make sure is that you're equitable in whatever you're offering. What's not okay is that you give everybody 4 days a week working and 3 days off, and then you say, well, I'm sorry, you're the ones that have to support the customer, so you still have to work 5 full days a week. That doesn't feel good. That's not equitable. That's not kind. That's not going to help your employees want to stay loyal and work with you in the long run. So when you're defining flexible schedules, you need to make sure that you're considering every single person and you're considering the impact to the business short-term and long-term. And the final thing, in order for flexible schedules and in order for them to yield the benefits that you are expecting, they must be defined and have clearly specified accountability. Getting to work less in the summer does not mean that you get to do less. It means that you still have to do what you need to do by the time that you need to do it, and you get more free time if you're able to manage it. One of the businesses that I have worked with in the past, when we implemented a flexible schedule, the rule of thumb was this business operates 4 days a week. We do not operate Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. However, if you have a deliverable, if you have results that need to be achieved and they cannot be done in the 4 days, then we are expecting you to work the 5th. And this was clearly stated from the outset, helped significantly for people to better align expectations about what they could achieve in 4 days. Because what started to happen initially when we made the switch from 5 days to 4 is that they were biting off more than they could chew. They were saying, I can get this project done in a week, or I can get it done in 2 weeks. And you know what was happening is they weren't getting it done. And it was taking significantly longer. Instead of it taking a week, it was taking a week and a half, because after 3 days off, they'd come back in to just like finish it up and realize that they had lost track and they had to redo some things and then go all the way forward. It became incredibly inefficient. So over time, as we really got specific around how do you estimate how long it's going to take you to do something, we were able to get them to a level of mastery that they were able to clearly communicate what they could do in 4 days, what they could do in a week and a half, and they began to meet the expectations and delivery timeframes that they had on the 5-day work week. Setting expectations and holding people accountable to those expectations builds trust, it builds loyalty, and everybody has clarity around what they must do. And in the end, they get to be adults. They get to decide that if they overcommitted to something, they get to decide how to address it. They get to decide if they're just going to not do things on time, or they get to decide if they're going to work a little bit more to meet the deliverable. And they will then handle the consequences because they're being accountable. So you can do whatever you want with the schedules once you've determined what's best and least impactful to the business, as long as you pair it with a very bespoke and intentional way to hold people accountable for results and deliverables. Just because they're working less doesn't mean they're doing less. And that is often a misconception with flex time, shortened work weeks, etc. Number 4, I love this one. Summer is a great time to complete mid-year reviews and set goals for the back half of the year. Most businesses see a slowdown during the summer months. Not all. Some of them are absolutely busy and hot and hopping. It just depends on the sort of business that you have. If you're one of the businesses that experiences a slowdown during the summer months, it is a perfect time to spend with your team reflecting on how the first half of the year has gone, far away or how close you are to goal attainment for the goals that you set for the year, and then really help you structure and plan your goals for the back half of the year. The summertime is the best time to do it. And what's really cool is you don't need to do it physically in your office. This is a great time to get everybody together, go off site, do a little exploring, have some fun, and then get down to the business of assessing and planning as you move forward. Setting mid-year goals really helps light a fire under people, whether it's the middle of the summer or they're just getting back into things in September, because it helps them understand what the next mile marker is, where they're headed, how they're going to help the business achieve its big macro goals. If you wait too long, or you just believe that what you said at the beginning of the year is going to hold you through to the end, you've missed the plot. Like, you've missed it completely, because your business will shift and change, and it means your goals need to shift and change. So mid-year, after, at the beginning of July, is an excellent time for you to look back, to look forward. It's an excellent time for you to dig deep and see what's working in your business and what's not, to shift your priorities. And heck, if you've made a decision that your whole team can have the week of 4th of July off because it just makes sense for your business, it might be a good time for you to spend quietly looking at your business as a whole and reflecting on where to go from here. Sometimes you don't need to do this evaluation with everybody in the room. You just need a little bit of quiet time to do it yourself. And the easiest way to get quiet time is to send them all home. I'm speaking from experience on this one, friends. The 5th one, building on top of some strategies that I just talked about, setting the goals. The 5th one is go have fun. The summer is a great time for team building. It's a great time for reinvigorating the culture of the business. It's a great time for just depositing some energy and attention into the parts of your mission and your vision and your values that you don't get to do on a daily basis. It's a great time to go volunteer and be philanthropic. It's a great time to have family-centered events if that's something that's important to the people that work for you and your business. It is a really great time to connect and get out of the office. When the weather is good, it's an opportunity to just change your dynamic. It's a good time for retreats. It's a good time for relaxation. When you spend intentional time investing in the relationships of the people inside of your business, you're fostering a healthy culture. This is especially important for businesses that spent a good amount of time in a stressful situation in the first half of the year. Maybe the first half of the year didn't go as well as you planned. Maybe your business has been under a ton of pressure because of this tariffs conversation. Maybe your business has really struggled because the economy is uncertain and nobody's buying your goods or services. I don't know what your exact situation is, but if there's been a time of stress in your business, now or the next few months is a great time to get everybody together and just say, hey, I'm grateful that you're still here. Let's circle the wagons. Let's celebrate our wins, even if they weren't exactly what we'd hoped they would be for the first half of the year. Let's encourage each other. Let's feed our souls a little bit. Let's really get ourselves prepared and ready for the back half of the year and all that we want to achieve. The summer is an amazing time to be able to do some of these activities, especially if your business is in a period of slow. The sixth thing, this is how you, the leader, the business owner, the CEO, the founder, enjoy the summer months in business. You communicate, you automate, and you delegate. So the summer is a great time for efficiency projects. So the automation is all about creating efficiency in the business. Summer is a great month for you to say, this thing that we do manually, we're going to implement a tool. Such a good time to do that. But if you are looking to step away from your business a little bit, if you yourself are saying, hey, I'm the business owner and you guys are just going to see me less this summer. You're going to see me 3 days a week instead of the 5, or you're going to, because it's your prerogative, you own the business, you get to decide how much you work. If you've decided that you're going to spend some time to yourself and you're going to step back from the business, the very first thing you need to do is communicate. You need to tell your team what your schedule is. You need to tell your team who to go to if you're unavailable. You need to tell your team what authority levels they have and what decision-making power they have so that the business can continue to run without you. Then you need to see what opportunities you have to automate some of the things that you do, whether it's leveraging a CRM or AI to write your blog posts for the next 3 months, or whether it's you batching some tasks and recording a bunch of content so that your social team can post it forever. It doesn't really matter, but figure out ways that you can automate, you can speed up, you can take the use of technology to buy back time so that you can spend more time not working and doing what you want to do over the summer months. And then the last thing is that you need to delegate. You step out of the business, whether you're going to start working 3 days a week instead of 5 over the summer months, whether you're going to take a vacation, whether you're legitimately going to say, I am out of office and I am not here to help. You guys have got the ship. You'll be great. Before you do any of that, you have to delegate. Because you are actually doing productive work in the business. You are actually managing people. You are actively making decisions. And when you're not there, somebody else still has to do all of those things. So while you can communicate what's going on and you can automate a whole bunch of stuff, you're still going to need to delegate. You're going to need to delegate authority. You're going to need to delegate decision-making abilities. You're going to need to delegate tasks and assignments and potentially projects or proposals. You're also going to need to be able to tell them when they need to call you in. You're going to need to be able to communicate to them and say, hey, if we get to this point, you need to call me. Schedule be damned. You need to make sure that they absolutely understand what they can and can't do in your absence and when they need to phone you to get you in the door. When you communicate and you delegate, a part of that is them understanding when they escalate, and they escalate to you to get help and to come back in. And then tip number 7 is lead by example. This one, I saved this for last on purpose because this is the most important one out of all of them. Everything else aside, if you have made a decision about how you would like your employees, your business to take advantage of vacations and summer months and family time, your employees are looking to you and they will take cues from you. If you take no time off, they're not going to take time off. If you are working around the clock, they're going to work around the clock. Whether it's the summer or it's any day of the week, they are going to model and emulate how you show up and what you do, because they're going to understand that that's the expectation, even if you don't mean it. And here is what I mean. During COVID, when all of us went home, I had a team that was spread far and wide and time zones everywhere, and we were stuck in our homes. And I remember getting into a meeting on a Monday or a Tuesday morning, and somebody looked just incredibly exhausted. And so before we did anything, I just like, hey, what's going on? Like, I'm worried about you. What's going on? And they had shared that they had been working all weekend because they just kept getting these emails. They'd step away from their computer and they'd hear it ding, and then they'd go back and they'd get another email, and the emails never really stopped. They would go well into the night, and then they would start very early in the morning because of time zones. And I asked a few more questions, and what I realized is that because everybody had a different working style and we were all basically stuck at home without a lot to do, the boundaries that you would normally set for yourself, where you would leave the office and your computer wouldn't open again until the next day, they had been obliterated. And so what we were all getting a front row seat to was everybody else's either way of managing the stress of the situation that we were in, or their working styles. And it was overwhelming, and it was causing people to work around the clock and respond to emails all of the time and instant messages all of the time. They were becoming readily available at any hour of the day or night, even if that wasn't their normal mode of operation before. And I had countless meetings with leaders saying, knock it off. Don't work on the weekends, don't work late at night. And they didn't stop. And everybody was getting more frazzled and exhausted and stressed out. And so what I realized was that it had to start with me. And so I said very clearly, my day starts at 7, my day ends at 4. I do not work on the weekends. And then if I so happened to decide to work on a Saturday, I scheduled all of my emails to arrive during the day on Monday. And spoiler alert, they did not all get scheduled to show up at 8 a.m. because they know if they go from 0 emails from you to 45 emails from you, you know what you just told them? That you worked over the weekend and you scheduled everything to send. Okay? So you need to use a little bit of logic. And what I did is I scheduled them to send periodically throughout the day based on what they needed, so that they would trickle into their inbox. I shared this best practice with my leaders. I stopped telling people to not work nights and weekends, and instead I said, my expectation of you is that nobody receives an email from you nights and weekends. And do you know what happened? People stopped receiving emails nights and weekends. Those that really did need to unplug and take the break did. They stopped being stressed out, and their perception was that there was less work to do, when in fact there was still the same amount of work to do. It just wasn't barraging them all of the time. Because I prioritize boundaries and family time and personal time and stepping away and recharging your battery and all of the things. And then I demonstrated how to create an environment where that was possible. It became a reality. So if you are telling your people to take time off and to not work while they take time off, do you know what you need to do? You need to take time off and not work while you're taking time off. You need to not send text messages or voice notes or emails or Slack messages. You need to not be having sales calls. You need to not be selling things. You need to just go live your life. If you're asking your people to do that, to walk away from the business and go live their life, you have to do the same. Culture starts with you. You lead. They follow your example. So that last tip that I have for you of leading by example, it's incredibly important. Because however you want them to show up, however you want them to take advantage of these next few months that are slow, however you want them to be able to vacation and take time off and observe flex time, you have to show them it's possible. You have to show them it's acceptable. You have to show them it's okay. All starts with you. Whether you're busy or slow in the summer, you get to decide what's important for your business. You get to decide what you're going to offer as benefits. You get to decide how you're going to handle vacation. You get to decide how you're going to spend your time. By planning ahead, anticipating what your business is going to need, understanding what your employees are going to need and ask for, you can build a strategy, a plan, and a set of policies that take care of everybody, the humans and the business. All it takes is a little bit of preparation, and you can ensure that not only does your business have an amazing summer, but your staff does too. I hope that these tips were helpful for you. These are just 7 rapid fire things to consider as you start to prepare for the summer months. I strongly encourage all of you to make sure that you have a plan in place so all of your employees, yourself included, can take time off and away from the business. And if you've been flirting with a shorter work week, the summer is a great time to experiment with it. See if it works for your business. See what challenges present themselves and see if you can overcome them when your business is slowed down and the world has slowed down. It's the best time to experiment with the business. Enjoy the summer. And until next time, friends, please know you are wise and you are strong and you are capable, and I believe in you.